All right, so we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Woodland Pools and to another Cardano Q&A live stream. So, big announcements that happened last week and some big news. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different things that we're going to dig into today. If you are joining us live, let us know where you're joining from and any questions that you have. And in between these different topics, we'll go ahead and jump into those. If you are joining us on the replay, let us know down below where you're joining from or any questions that you have, and then we can always address them either in the comments or the next time that we get together next Tuesday. Yeah, and also for those watching in the replay, I will be adding chapters for all these different sections so you can skip ahead to the different stuff that we have going on. So with that, I guess before we kick off, if you like the stuff that we dig into here and all the educational stuff that we do, the best way you can support the channel is by delegating to the ASPEN stake pool and join one of our many delegators, and we would love to have you. So let's take a look at what we're going to look at today. I want to take a look at the book ITO that just happened last week, and then we're going to take a really deep dive into the announcement. Let's see if we can zoom this a little bit. The Cardano Foundation made this announcement that they are finally going to reduce the minPoolCost parameter from 340 to 170 ADA, a thing that we've been talking about on the channel and a thing that we've been asking for a very long time. So we will look at that, what it means, how we're going to handle that on ASPEN, and what it means to you as a delegator, and we'll be really digging into some of the numbers of that at the end of the stream here. So with that, let's do a couple of hellos and let's get this thing kicked off. So Mark Byers, hello, joining us from Wednesday morning. Hopefully you said this time works better for you, so I'm glad that it works better for you, because now that we've been doing it on Tuesdays, it does work better for me as well, instead of trying to cram everything into Mondays. So hello on Wednesday morning to Mark Byers. Charles Fabiano, hello. CJ in Chicago, well, hello from Chicago. Skyloft, good to see you live, man. Skyloft is one of our long-term delegators, been around helping out with the channel, one of the admins in our Telegram group, really great guy. Thank you. Oh, cool. I'm really glad to see. Oh, hold on. How do I? There we go. Thank you. Really glad to hear that that went well for you. Yeah, we'll be digging into that, and it was really cool to see that. And actually, it'll be what I'll do is I was gonna show a clip of like the dropping, but it'll be actually kind of fun, I think, to take a look at some of us and stuff we went through. Hey, Holy Macaroni. Good to see you. I'm really sorry that we didn't get to see each other in Vegas, but I promise we will make it happen eventually. I think you were saying that you're not going to be in Dubai, which is unfortunate, but we will make it happen. I would love to sit down with you, and if you ever want to have me back on one of the Twitter Spaces, I'd be happy to join you guys. That was a pleasure chatting with you. So, with the hellos out of the way, and thank you everybody for calling in from all around the world, let's get started. So the first thing that I wanted to get into was the Book.io ITO that finally released. There's Josh staring straight into the camera in about a 10-minute video walking through all the details of how the ITO unlock was going to happen. For those that are not familiar, we kicked off the initial token offering. Folks were able to come and buy their tokens. And actually, what happened during this process, you were also able to swap tokens. Let me get this out of the way. You were also able to swap tokens as well. So if you had Book Classic, you were able to come in and swap your Book Classic for the new Book token, which is the only one that we're going to be using on the site moving forward. And people were able to do that, which, by the way, I will mention, if you're one of the few stragglers that still happens to have Book Classic and you've not swapped it over yet, there will be no utility for Book Classic moving forward, only the new Book token. So you can still come to the site right now and swap it. And poor RJ is facilitating these swaps on the back end once a day. Because the way that this was working was when you either purchased it or when you swapped it, it sent all of this to a lock contract, and all of our Book tokens were sitting there to be unlocked on October 20th, which was last Friday. So for everybody that had tokens sitting there last Friday, actually, let me skip ahead a little bit here. This was really cool. Let me see if there's a way that I can, yeah, cool. So this was awesome. This was the dropping, the unlocking in action. So you can see here on EUTXO Explorer, all these blocks coming in with folks' Book token coming in on the different transactions. This was so cool to be a part of. So this kicked off at about 7 a.m. Central was when everybody started on October 20th, last Friday. Everybody started getting their tokens, and so that was really cool to see. But with the way that we designed the on-chain validators and the smart contracts to make all of this work, for folks that either purchased or swapped their tokens, it went to that lock contract. And then once the date passed, we paid the fees and did everything and unlocked it for everybody and sent it back out to everyone to the same address where they had purchased it. There's a subtle issue right now where if you're coming this late and you are swapping, the way that the swap contract is written, it's still going to send it over to the lock contract. And so it's going to be sitting there. And so once a day, now the day has passed, once a day at the end of the day, RJ is going in and unlocking those remaining new tokens that are being swapped out. So if you do go through the swap process, give it about a day or so, you will get your new tokens, but it is sort of a manual process to get those last stragglers through, because the idea was to get everybody all at once. But some folks have decided they wanted to come in and be swapping old book tokens anyway. So that was actually, okay, so let's do that. Let's take a look here. I want to go back in time a little bit because this was really fun. Let's see if I can zoom this out. So when we were doing this whole unlock was pretty neat. So here was the whole engineering team was in at 5 o'clock in the morning Central Time. And so then the first thing that happened at 5 a.m. was we set up a liquidity pool on Minswap. So if you did not participate in the ITO and you want to buy some book tokens, you can come to Minswap and you can actually purchase some tokens here. And I thought it might be fun to kind of do that together. So we'll be taking a look at that here in a second if you want to buy some book tokens. So that was sort of the first thing that we were doing here, was kicking that off at about 5 o'clock in the morning. And then shortly after that, at about 7, was when the actual unlocking started. Where's that at? Here. And then we started releasing all the tokens to everybody. So that was super, super cool. The day before all of this, Josh released this video where he went through all the details about how the unlock was going to happen, a reminder of the utility of the token, breakdowns and stats about how everything was going to come together. He had a good pie chart here. Here we go. Sort of just showing the allocations of everything and how it was all going to come together. And then I wanted to show you guys here, for those that stuck around until the end, most of you I think that are in OG Book Club already know this, but for those that stuck around until the end, there was this sort of Marvel Cinematic Universe after credits that I want to make sure that you guys heard.
Oh, and one more thing. Mark your calendars for April 20th next year in 2024 for the first ever Book.io con. More details to come soon. Thanks.
Yes, so that was kind of thrown in there at the end. People have been asking about when BookCon for the longest time. April 20th of next year. It will be most likely in the Dallas area. I think that is the plan. And so it'd be awesome for those that are part of the OG Book Club or fans of Book.io that want to all come together and hang out. I think that will be an awesome time. So yeah, that was really, really cool. And this has been a long-running project that the whole engineering team is working on for months at this point. The other piece too, that once these coins, the tokens were all unlocked, the other piece to sort of round out the day was we had a mint of the King in Yellow, which was the first decentralized encrypted asset that you had to purchase with book token. So we've been talking about for a while about the utility of this and how you can use it for all different kinds of things, and one of them being to purchase books. This past Friday, at the end of the day, was the first time that we had a book that you could only mint with book token. So that was super cool. If you have any questions about the book token FAQs, I will link all of these things down below. And one thing that I want to make sure to point out, because we're already starting to see scam and imitation tokens, make sure that you are always working with the real, correct policy ID for book. Let me drop this in here. And all of this stuff I'll be putting in the description down below, but please make sure that you're working with a verified policy ID. And so with that being mentioned, let's take a look at that. Let's see what it would look like to come into Minswap and buy some book token, because I have not done this yet on Minswap. So what I will say is when you're coming to do this, a way to keep yourself safe when you're on sites like Minswap is make sure you have this flag always toggled on for verified tokens. So you can see here, for example, that when I type in book, only one book token appears because it's the only one that's verified. I wonder if some other ones, yeah, this is perfect. Oh, I'm so glad we did this exercise. You can see here, this is actually our old book token, but these two are scam coins that somebody's putting out hoping that some folks make the mistake of buying this. This is not affiliated with Book.io in any way, and these are scam tokens, so please make sure you always have this verified tokens flag on, and you will only see the correct, new, and real book token. So I'm going to select that. All right. What did I do here? What did I break? Oh, because it's already selected here. But in any case, this is how you'd come in, you'd select it, and now you have here what you actually want to buy or sell. So let's see. I have in this wallet About 1100 ADA. Let's see if I do 400 ADA. Nice. I'll get like 11,000 book tokens. I need to for the King in Yellow. I didn't actually even have any book tokens on me, so Nacho lent me some. So I owe Nacho some back. So I need to pay him back, and I want to have a few for future mints. So let's go with this. Let's go with 400 ADA, and it looks like I will be getting about 11,600 book tokens. And with the slippage tolerance, the minimum that I'll get is 11,200. It looks like. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on swap. I should be getting 11,653 is the plan. I'll get at least that much or it'll revert. So let's confirm the swap. And I've got my Ledger Nano X here. I just got this pulled up here from Eternal. I see 404 and with the fees. And let's go ahead and sign this thing. So new ordinary transaction. Send 404. Transaction fee. All right. So that is sending that off to swap 400 data for 11,653 book. I can view this on C Explorer or Cardano scan. Cool. So this is the actual request to make the buy. I've got Eternal pulled up here. We will come back and take a look at this. This is the actual buy order, right? And so we should see my book tokens come in here in a minute. So yeah, cool. And so with this, I now finally have my own book tokens in my wallet, and I can participate in the next book mints that we have. Awesome. So while this comes in, let's see if we got any other stuff here. Yeah, awesome. Hey, Ron, what's going on? Good to see you. It's been a while. Always great to see you on the live stream. Hello. And totally understand. Make sure you snowboard. Oh, is that a thing? Oh, I totally want it. That did not even occur to me. Oh, I'm definitely going to do that. Snowboarding season's right around the corner. We're just like waiting here in the mountains for when the snow starts coming in. That sounds awesome. I absolutely want to do that. So my first snowboarding day of the season might be in Dubai. That sounds awesome. Let's see if this is coming yet. Oh, here we go. Sweet. There we go. Awesome. So sweet. So that went through, and I ended up getting exactly 11,653 book for my 400 ADA. So now if I come to my tokens list, there it is. Nice. All right. So I've got some book tokens. I can pay Nacho back, and now I can participate in our next King and Yellow mint with my own instead of having to bum some off of somebody else. Yeah, awesome. Please let me know. That'd be super fun. Okay, so with that, if you have any other questions about the stuff going on with Book.io, the book token, or anything like that, let me know in the comments down below, or any questions as we go through it. Happy to get into it, and if not, you can always hit up Ben on the Book.io Twitter account. They are very active on there. Oh, last thing I wanted to point out for this is we actually, to commemorate all of this, and for Halloween, we've got a BookTober giveaway. Win a 101 book, or immortalize yourself on an iconic 420 book series cover. And let me drop this into here. This will also be in the description down below. But we are doing a giveaway on the Cardano NFT subreddit. And so prizes, several different books, one of ones. The grand prize will be the same way how, for example, in Anatomy of Drunkenness, how there's several books have some of the folks from Book.io on the covers. If you win, you may be able to be on a cover of one of the books. And so all you need to do is on that thread that I posted there, create a GIF that reflects the Book.io community, our mission, and the spirit of what we're all about. And yeah, and then just make sure you're following the subreddit of Book.io, which is linked here. So do those things, and 10 people will be selected, and it's going to be selected on November 3rd on Reddit. So this is a really fun thing going on. If you want to get some free books, please check this out. I think this is going to be a really cool thing. All right. Okay, Moldy. I will definitely go and check that out. Awesome. So with that, let me get some water, and then we're going to dig into some numbers. Cool. So with that, huge news that came out from the Cardano Foundation. Finally, we have been talking about this for so long. Let's see actually when we first looked at this together. We come to these live videos. We were talking about, here we go. The first time we started talking about the minpool fee, about 170 versus 340, was 5 months ago, was when this vote happened. The Cardano Foundation put out a poll asking people to vote on their preference on where they wanted to see that go. And the results were pretty strong that, okay, let's go to 170 and let's move K to 1,000. Let me see if when the poll results came in, I think in the description here, I dropped a link to where we can view the results, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Poll results. Nice. Awesome. I'm glad I had that there. So let me get this out of the way. So yeah, so we can see here that the results were pretty clear. And if we group it by parameters, we can see that the that was by pool stake. How was this? Yeah, by pool stake. Yeah. So what ended up being the clear winner here was by cutting in half the min pool cost to 170 ADA. And depending on how you slice this, whether keeping K at 500 or increasing it to 1,000. Oh, that's what it was. The single vote that got the most was increasing K to 1,000 and cutting min pool cost to 170. That's what it was. So folks were arguing about whether if you collapse them into these options or if you look at the straight vote. But for the straight vote, K to 1,000, min pool cost to 170. That's what won. The Cardano Foundation has opted to just do one parameter change at a time. And so they put in a submission to drop the min pool fee from 340 to 170. I want to say props to Matthew Capps, who is one of the hardest working people over at IOG. His tweet here was the first that I saw of this. And so I wanted to give him props because he's a great person to follow. If you're not already following him, he's very tuned in with what's going on at IOG and Cardano Foundation. And he's just a really cool dude. So with that, let's take a look at that. So, IOG is committed to supporting evolution and advancement of Cardano. To this end, IOG, in association with the Cardano Foundation and Emergo, will enact the Parameter Committee's recommendations. So there was a separate set of recommendations. There's a Parameter Committee, which we've talked about before. They put together a set of recommendations based on the poll, and their suggestion was to start first by dropping min pool cost from 340 to 170. So, IOG, with Cardano Foundation and Emergo, are going to enact the Parameter Committee's recommendations and reduce the min pool cost parameter from 340 ADA to 170 ADA. So that's sort of the TLDR of how that's going to work. So what does that mean to you, right? And what's sort of the conversation that's going around with all of this? People that have been in favor of the 340 ADA basically fall into two groups. There are the folks who are running multiple pools that like that they get 340 ADA each time. And there's also some group of small single pool operators that say that this 340 ADA, since they don't get much from the variable fee, is the only thing that sort of keeps them alive. The ASPEN stake pool, we voted for this option to increase K to 1,000 and to cut the min pool cost to 170. And the reason for that, I think, is because, yes, while it would be nice for us to continue getting 340 ADA every epoch, and this does effectively cut our pool rewards in half, I truly believe that looking at it only in terms of an epoch to epoch revenue generation is sort of a myopic view and very short-term vision on what this means for the overall health and competitiveness of a pool. And let me show you what I mean by this. So for example, when a pool produces blocks, so here's our ASPEN stake pool, right? When a pool produces blocks, can I zoom this in anymore? Oh, okay, great. Basically what ends up happening is some amount of rewards go to the delegators, obviously, and these epic pool fees are comprised of two things. There is here we go, the variable fee, which for us is set to 0.5%, but the epic fee, this is min pool cost, this is the lowest we can charge at a flat rate, and then an additional variable fee is taken. So if you look, no matter how high, no matter how many blocks we get, so for example, here, let's look at some drastically different examples. So if we look at like here where we got like one block, right? Look at just pool rewards for a second. When the pool got one block, for rewards, we got 341 ADA, right? But the whole rest of the pool, all the other delegators only got 255. Now, if we look at an epoch where we'd got a whole bunch, like here, where we minted 22 blocks, remember the other one was 341 with only one block? We only got 389, so only 40 more ADA for minting 21 more blocks. But whereas on that other one that we looked at, delegators got only 245 to split between all of them, when we had the 22 blocks, it was almost 10,000 ADA to split between all of them. And so you can really easily see how, whether it was 250 ADA between everyone or 10,000 ADA between everyone, in both cases, the fee that we were obligated to take, because we could not go lower than 340, was somewhere between 340 and 400 ADA. So the problem is that whereas we would like to charge less, this absolutely crushes the perceived return on stake for delegators. Because again, for example, here where we got the 22, we got 22 blocks. It was great. It was 4.79 return on stake, annualized return on stake for that epic. But we can see here that one time that we got only the one, there's literally a 0.23 return on stake annualized, and we would have gladly taken less, but we just couldn't, right? So the problem there is that then what starts becoming very clear is that in the long-term run, and then all this stuff here, like this affects, like if you do like an average, I like doing an 18 epic average because that's about 3 months. So that way you can kind of see over the course of 3 months what's the average. So for example, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.7. So I like doing it that way because it kind of flattens it out. The problem is that for smaller pools, especially pools that are at like 1 million or 500,000 or whatever else, and they're only getting maybe one block in epic or every few epics or whatever, it makes their perceived rewards, because of how much they're forced to take, significantly lower than larger pools. And it makes it that smaller pools because never have the opportunity to even get to that point. So let's take a look at some numbers here. This is for epic 425. If we look at epic 425 here, we can see here that we got 14 blocks. Delegators got about 6,400 ADA. And then for us, we got 372 for running the pool. So we can see here the 425. Here's a 6,400 ADA. Here's our 372. And we can see that the annualized compounding interest was, for that epic, was 3.131% ROS. So here we go, 3.13. Cool. So now we can look at this side by side. I kind of like blew all this out to look at the fixed fee at 340 compared to 170. And then looking at the total rewards that came in, subtracting the fixed fee. So this is all that's left. Then from there, taking off our variable fee of 0.5%. This adds up to our total fees that we removed. So here, the 372, which we saw here, right? And then that means this is what's left for everybody else. The return on stake for that epic, the simple annualized version, and the compounding version of that, which is what's reflected on Pool Tool. So with that all broken down, if we look here at leaving this at 0.5% and going from 340 ADA to 170, we can see for a given epic that's sort of middle of the road there, we got 14 blocks. We can see that in that one, even when there was plenty of rewards to split around, 6,800 total, when we move down to the bottom here, the compounding interest for you as a delegator, if the min fee would have been 170 instead of 340, goes from being 3.13 to 3.21, so almost a 0.1% increase on your annualized returns. But this is for an epic where we're getting a good amount of returns, like 6,800 ADA coming back total. What if it was like that one where we got just the one, right? Oh, like here, where this is 2, but this has to be added up. So let's add these two. So let's say about 700 ADA. What if only like 700 ADA came in? This is where it really makes a drastic difference. You see here that if only 700 ADA came in, it'd be split between everybody. If the operator is forced to take 340, the annualized compounding return for the delegator is only 0.17%, but it would be almost twice that, more like a full percent more, if it was only 170. So it really does make a difference, especially for smaller pools. You can see how the less the rewards that come in, makes a huge difference. If it was like 500 ADA that came in, it's almost twice as much what the delegators would get in that instance. So it is an immediate win for delegators if this is reduced, and increasingly so for smaller pools, which I think that if a smaller pool can afford to stand up the pool and pay for the costs of it on their own, and they do have a good plan for how to grow their pool over time, I think this gives them the opportunity to be more competitive with the larger pools, even if they're earning less in the meantime. So that's just sort of my view on it, and how I think that is the best way for smaller single pool operators to compete in the long run. And so with that, the plan for the ASPEN stake pool right now are, how do I zoom this in? As I mentioned, our fee is 0.5%, and the fixed cost is 340. What we're going to do is, actually, let me come back to here. It was mentioned in this article. Here we go. So on the 23rd of October, the epic boundary that we just had, the change was submitted to mainnet. And so on the epic boundary on the 27th of October, pools will be able to change their min pool fee and reduce it to below 340. assuming that guild tools, which is what we use to run and manage the stuff on the pool, assuming that has that enabled on the 27th, I will be putting in a change for the ASPEN stake pool to keep our variable fee at 0.5%, but reducing our fixed cost to 170. So in the meantime, giving you delegators an immediate increase in rewards. And similar to how in the past we've seen that the sort of average that we've seen for what pools charge is a fixed of 340 and somewhere between 0 and 3 or 4% margin. Similarly, what I'm going to do is we're going to cut this down to 170, leave our variable fee where it is, and see kind of where the dust settles in terms of what seems to be the average that people are charging from a variable fee standpoint. And at some point later, maybe in 6 or 12 months, we'll come back and revisit this variable fee. The nice thing about the variable fee is that as the rewards go up, right, you only pay as a percentage of whatever came in. So it's not nearly as impactful as the fixed cost fee. But with the ASPEN stake pool, we will immediately be cutting this in half as soon as I have the ability to do so, ideally on the 27th, but if not, at some point shortly after that. And so I think with that, it's once again a good opportunity to say, if you do appreciate the work that we do here and you want to jump on board now that we're cutting our fixed costs down in half, the best way you can support the channel and all this educational content that we do is by delegating to the ASPEN stake pool and joining one of our almost 1,200 delegators. I always say, from all of our biggest whales to our smallest fishies, everybody is welcome. So please, if you want to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate your delegation, especially now as we're getting sort of another shakeup here of a major announcement of this protocol parameter change. Howdy ho, ADA millionaires. Accelerate. Really good to see you live, Accelerate. Always a pleasure. Well, ask me one of the pools rewarding book down the road mentioned in the ITO video. Good question. No, so Book.io and like totally independent from the ASPEN stake pool will be standing up some book pools that will be run by probably our infrastructure engineer on Book.io's staff. So I'm not going to be directly related with any of that. What I might try and do maybe is do something where if you delegate to ASPEN, you also get some book tokens. The difference is that the way that those are going to work, the Book.io stake pools, is that they're going to be deliberately high fee pools where you are trading your opportunity cost of getting ADA and instead getting book. So I think the details are going to be worked out, but one of the things the guys were talking about was like maybe doing like a 50-50 pool where, you know, instead of being like 0.5% margin, the fee would be like 50%. And so you still get half of your ADA rewards and you get the other half in book. And then maybe the other one might be 100% where you get no ADA and you get all of it in book. They're going to work out how that's going to go. What I think maybe I'll do at some point in the future is just take some book out of my own pocket and keep all of our fees exactly the same. But as an added benefit for being an ASPEN stake pool delegator, I will just be giving out some of my own book with no effect on your rewards. It'll just be some small amount, nothing compared to what you would nothing compared to what you would get if you're foregoing your rewards with the book pool. Maybe it's some way for those folks that appreciate the pool and want to get some book token, but don't feel like foregoing their rewards. Maybe we'll see. That's a good question, Skyloft. But yeah. Cool. So I think we are all caught up on questions, and I think we got through everything I wanted to go through today. Hopefully this was educational. I think this will be helpful for folks to think through in terms of the real actual impacts that it'll have. So for folks that are delegating to the ASPEN stake pool, you can probably expect roughly a 0.1% increase in your returns on an annualized basis, starting pretty much immediately once we can make this change. And to get the latest, follow us on Twitter. I always tweet about these things as we're doing them. So yeah, awesome. Thanks everybody for coming out. This is always a pleasure. We're going to keep doing this in a shorter version here, which is a couple of focused topics to make it easier for folks to watch on the replay. If I missed anything that I should have covered this week, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to join us next week, we'll be doing this here in the same place at the same time, 11 p.m. UTC. Oh, actually, hold on. Next week, Tuesday, I'm going to be flying to the Cardano Summit. We might switch it back to Monday next week. We will see, or we might skip a week. But the Cardano Summit is coming up. I can't believe that I missed that. Summit.cardano.org. This is like right around the corner. So if you haven't already registered for the main stage event, if you're going to be around, but at this point, I imagine now folks will be going to the community events. There are going to be community events all over. Discover locations. If you can't make it to Dubai, there will be events in Amsterdam, Bangalore, Bangkok, Berlin, Buenos Aires, Cape Town, Curitiba, Dusseldorf, Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Jakarta, Kenya. You get the idea. All over the world. I will be sitting down with several different folks at the summit and doing interviews with people from all over the community. That means that we might have to skip next week's live stream because I will literally be on a plane next Tuesday. I'll keep you guys updated. Follow us on Twitter to get the latest. Woodsy, great to see you. Mark Byers, I'm very much looking forward to it. And so, yeah, I think with that, let's go ahead and call it there. I will keep you guys posted if we're going to do this next week or not. And if nothing else, we will see you next week or the following week from Dubai. Thanks, everybody, and have a great one. Bye.